Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to play some Mortal Kombat Trilogy. We're doing a versus Let's Play because I haven't done one of those in a while. For those who've never watched this channel before, haven't seen some of my past videos, I do like a side-by-side comparison of like pre-recorded footage on one side and live footage on the other side, and I call it a versus Let's Play. So, anyway, I was going through all my Mortal Kombat videos that I had recorded, and I realized I forgot to do Mortal Kombat Trilogy. And that was actually one of the ones I was really meaning to do. I think I started doing it and then I just skipped it for whatever reason. But I am playing the PlayStation version, and I'm actually playing on a PlayStation 3. I mean, here's like the 6-axis controller here. I was going to play on the PlayStation 2 and go through the Frame Meister, but my profile got messed up. I couldn't get the scaling right, so I figured I would just say screw it and just play on the PlayStation 3, just make it simpler. So right off the bat, the biggest change between the two versions is the loading times. Of course, the Nintendo 64 version does not have any load times because it was cartridge based, and that was one of the reasons why Nintendo had stuck with using cartridges. It was more because they were in the cartridge business and, selling cartridges to developers to make money and that kind of thing. But CDs, of course, had more space, so you can put more stuff on the games. And when you compare the two, you will see, oh, here's a good shot if I got them side by side. Come on, load faster. Load faster. Please load faster. Please load faster. That's okay, we use some imagination. PlayStation version has a lot more content, and it has all the content, so it's a more complete version. Like you saw in the selection screen over on the N64 version, is you didn't have so all four bosses down here. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if the bosses were playable or not in the N64. I think they were. There's just a trick to them, but it didn't have the Mortal Kombat 1 boss Goro. It did not have Mortal Kombat 2 boss Kintaro. Also, if you notice, like I'm playing Sub-Zero on the Nintendo 64 version, it doesn't have the classic Sub-Zero. So they did that, because limited space on cartridge, unless they wanted to spend like a whole lot of money for a bigger cartridge, which I don't know if they existed at the time they were developing this. But what they did is they took the special moves of both versions of Sub-Zero, the original one and the unmasked one, and basically gave the classic outfit Sub-Zero all four moves. Like you see him over there doing like the ice clone and the ice shower, where in this version the Sub-Zero in the ninja outfit doesn't do those two moves, and because those were moves that this Sub-Zero has. Try and remember the combo here. But another thing that was cut out in the Nintendo 64 version is the music. And also, since I'm on the subject of music, actually, I guess I'll get to it. But the PlayStation version, and I know there's a Sega Saturn version, I'll get to that eventually. But the PlayStation version had all the music tracks for all the Mortal Kombat 2 stages and the Mortal Kombat 3 stages. Didn't have the Mortal Kombat 1 music stage tracks for some reason, but probably just because of the space in the CD. Because in this, all the music tracks were actual, or all the music from the stages are actual CD tracks. Like you could take the Mortal Kombat Trilogy disc and put it in a CD player and it actually play the stage music, which is kind of cool. Something happened during the development of the game where all the PlayStation 3 music, or all the Mortal Kombat 3 music. Oh, I didn't say PlayStation when I meant to say Mortal Kombat earlier in this video. I'll find out in the editing. But all the Mortal Kombat 3 stages, the music sounds like the pitch is off. And something happened where they were like, when they were converting it, making this game, they were like downsampling it, and they, for whatever reason, and they forgot to upsample it or something like that. Basically, the pitch to the Mortal Kombat 3 stages sounds like a little slower, a little bit lower. Especially if you compare it to just regular Mortal Kombat 3 on PlayStation. At least I believe it was. I believe that one is correct. I have to go back and play it again, watch my video that I did. But Nintendo 64 version, the pitch and everything is correct. However, because of space, it only has the stage music to Mortal Kombat 3. So when you're playing like a Mortal Kombat 2 level right there, which I should have switched it over, but I'll try and remember to switch it over when it switches back. It plays Mortal Kombat 3 stage music on Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 levels. So of course here we're at a loading screen, and that's something the Nintendo 64 version does not have, is the loading screen. But now here I am playing, the Sub-Zero on the classic ninja outfit, and I'm trying to do the ice shower and the ice clone, and I can't do it. So this Sub-Zero only has the ground freeze and just the regular freeze. And supposedly there's a bug when you're playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy on a PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3. And I think it's like when you let the credits end all the way off, end all the way out, that a game freezes out, if I remember correctly. Also, Mortal Kombat Trilogy added this aggressive meter down below, like when you do attacks and you get hit, it fills up and you can do a little bit more damage. And you kind of see like this little shadowy effect, like you see smoke on the other screen right now. Oh. But I usually turn it off. Like the Nintendo 64 version, it oh, brutalities, gotta talk about brutalities. But the Nintendo 64 version, it kind of slows it down a little bit because, the game is not really a good 2D processing game. But I'm going to reset the game because I want to switch characters here. But yeah, brutalities. Mortal Kombat Trilogy was the first game to introduce brutalities. And they also introduced them in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for Genesis and Super Nintendo. I don't remember if those versions of the game came out before this or not, but whichever one came out first was the first game to introduce brutalities, which is basically just like a whole bunch of combos until a character explodes. They're kind of neat in terms of just something new, but they look stupid. So they don't age well. Of course, they brought back brutalities when they made the Mortal Kombat vs. DC game, because they didn't want the DC Comics superheroes killing people, so they just called them brutalities, or heroic brutalities. But another thing I want to talk about is, since we're talking about the loading time, again, you don't see a lot of loading time on the Nintendo 64 version at all, which, I remember renting and playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy back in the day, and it's not as bad as I remember. In fact, playing it now, I think I almost like it better just because of the lack of loading times. But one of the things I will show you, oop, I forgot to go in the options. That's okay. We'll do it this way anyways. Let's see, go to Shang Tsung. Here we are. Loading times are a very big deal when you're playing Shang Tsung, because anytime it loads another character, it has to stop and freeze the game for a second because it's loading. Now in a cartridge system, it's pretty instantaneous, so it's not a factor. So Shang Tsung can just morph into whoever he wants. In fact, like the code to do like ramper combat, where it like randomly changes your character into another character that's off the arcade, you can do that in Nintendo 64 version, but you cannot do that in the PlayStation or any CD games, for that matter. One of the reasons why I still prefer to play just like regular Mortal Kombat 3 on Super Nintendo over the PlayStation, even though PlayStation version is a better version. Let's see, can I do it? There we go. So you turn into Cyrax here. So it froze up for a second. And they got the loading time a little bit better on Mortal Kombat Trilogy on PlayStation versus just regular Mortal Kombat 3. And of course, I mean, I should probably say Mortal Kombat 3, or I'm sorry, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, it's like a trilogy of 1, 2, and 3, but it's not really a trilogy. It's basically just an expansion of Mortal Kombat 3, like Ultimate was, and they just added some more characters. The characters that were not in the previous game. Which, Baraka, Johnny Cage, and Raiden. That's pretty much it. But it's still good. I mean, it was still a lot of fun back in the day. But let's go back and reset this again. Oops. I want to show something that they did, which is really cool. So I'm going to switch over and just kind of, because I was talking about the music, but I got sidetracked here. So if you listen to the music, hopefully I got it up loud enough. All the Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 stages are actually Mortal Kombat 3 tracks on Nintendo 64 version. Even on the Mortal Kombat 1 stages on the PlayStation version, which I already talked about, but they're pitched correctly, but it relies on Nintendo 64's processing to make the sound, because it's not like compressed MP3s or anything like that. There's no sound files, so sometimes the music doesn't quite sound like as authentic. You know, kind of think like, you know, Genesis music versus arcade music or something like that. Not quite that bad, but it's kind of like that. But it still sounds pretty good. Again, PlayStation version is the more complete version of the game. Nintendo 64 version plays really smooth. Gameplay is there, but you're also missing a lot of frames of animation. I don't know if you can tell, like when the characters kind of stand there, they're kind of like doing their little poses and they're moving and stuff like that. You actually see some frames of animation missing from the Nintendo 64 version, but the gameplay is still solid. Exactly like Mortal Kombat 1 on Super Nintendo versus Genesis. Genesis version was actually more smooth, but like the character animations were losing frames. But talking about the Shang Tsung's morphs here, is there is an option in this. You can either turn it off so you don't like morph into someone by accident and then freeze up the game, or they have what's called a limited mode. This is actually kind of cool. Let's go exit and then we'll restart the game. I love that classic pit, bottom of the pit stage. Of course, you saw in the tower there that, you know, it's just like classic regular Mortal Kombat 3. You know, right before Shao Kahn, you fight a boss, which is Motaro. Another thing I want to talk about real quick while we're on the subject is not only does it have more characters like classic, like Unmasked Sub-Zero, but also has classic versions of returning characters. Like if I highlight Raiden here, hit select, you get to play as Mortal Kombat 1 Raiden, or Jax, Mortal Kombat 2 Jax, or Kung Lao, Mortal Kombat 2 Kung Lao. So basically it's whatever characters had the same actor from a previous game. But anyway, we're going to go back to Shang Tsung here, and we'll touch up on Johnny Cage here in a second, because they actually had to refilm Johnny Cage with a whole new actor because, of course, Daniel Pazina was not a returning actor. So with the limited mode, you get the option to pick 2 characters. Because Shang Tsung can morph into the character he's fighting against, since that character is loaded into RAM, into data. And it can also load 2 more characters into RAM. So, like, we'll pick Cyrax, for example. And the cool thing about picking like the ninjas is the game sees Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke as multiple, like the same character, just color swaps. And they did that to save space. And then we'll pick like the human Smoke here. And you can actually, even though it's limited, you actually get like a majority of characters that you can, you know, pick and play from. So I was hoping that you see the towers here. A lot of times, oops, I didn't mean to pick that one. That's okay. A lot of times the towers, like the sub-boss before Shao Kahn, will actually be Goro or Kintaro on the PlayStation version. But I should talk about the Saturn version a little bit. I remember when they first announced this game, I think it was Electronic Gaming Monthly, they mentioned a Saturn version coming out, but I never saw it in the stores, and I never knew it actually got released and existed until like a couple years ago when I saw it at a game store. Just never bothered to look it up. But I think according to Wikipedia, which is not really accurate with this game because I read the article about this game, but in terms of the release date, it's probably accurate enough. The Saturn version actually came out later, so the Saturn version was all right from like the videos I've seen. But yeah, if you got a choice between Saturn and PlayStation version, just get the PlayStation version. Now, if I turn into Cyrax, no loading time. There might still be loading times for fatalities, though. But like when you do like the endurance matches, that's why in the PlayStation version there's no loading times when it switches characters, unless you're fighting like more than 3-4 characters or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and let him kill me so I can just switch characters here. I'm really not that good at Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 3 or Trilogy. That's another weird thing they did with Nintendo 64 version, is they changed the background of the pit stage. So it's like an all-star background. It's not like stars and stuff, where the original background had clouds. And for whatever reason, the PlayStation version, they did a similar thing where they had the background to the Mortal Kombat 2 pit stage for whatever weird reason. But that's okay. And both games don't have all the Mortal Kombat 1 stages. They only have like half of them. And it could be because Shang Tsung's in the background of most of them. So let's see, what character should we play next? Let's play Smoke. Robot Smoke. And another thing to talk about. I'm trying to remember like all the differences in the games, because there's a lot of differences. But in the arcade version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and even the Sega Saturn version will do this despite the loading time, is when you select Robot Smoke, you can actually hold high punch, high kick, run, block, start. I think it's run, block, and start. Yeah, run, block, start, and away from the controller, and you'll turn into Human Smoke, or something like that. Like you'll see me do it on here, unless I've done it already. I'm not paying attention. On Mortal Kombat Trilogy on PlayStation, you cannot do that. But they give you the ability to select him right off the bat, so that's kind of cool. And like you saw like in the character select screen, like the 2 question marks, one of those question marks is Human Smoke. Even though you can play him at any point in time. And there's also a new character they added for Mortal Kombat, Trilogy, named Chameleon. And each version of the game has their own different characters. There's a neat pit fatality. I like this one. PlayStation version has a male version of Chameleon, which is basically all the ninjas put into one character, and then they like randomly changes color, and you can do that character's special move. And Nintendo 64 has female Chameleon with a K, and it's like an amalgamation of all the female ninjas. So that's kind of cool. Which, of course, they make their return in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Which only the Wii version has the female Chameleon. So I'll try and be quiet here. If you can listen to the Nintendo 64 music on that Mortal Kombat 2 stage. So yeah, that is actually music from Mortal Kombat 3. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the music back here. So like, if you listen to, like this is original Mortal Kombat 3 stage, if you listen to the music, it's actually down pitch a little bit, like if you compare it to like the arcade version, and I think the regular Mortal Kombat 3 on PlayStation. I like this fatality. Okay, yeah, you'll see me turn into Human Smoke on the Nintendo 64 version that I played earlier. I actually played that a couple hours before, or recorded it before playing this. Human Smoke versus Robot Smoke. Of course, adding Robot Smoke and adding the spear was a good way to have a Scorpion-like character in Mortal Kombat 3, since Scorpion wasn't in the game. So what else can we talk about in this game? Talked about the frame animation, loading time. Of course, loading time's the major thing. Oh, fatalities. Even though Nintendo 64 version doesn't have all 4 bosses, you know, Goro, Kintaro, Motaro, and Shao Kahn, it only has the Mortal Kombat 3 bosses. They gave Motaro and Shao Kahn fatalities in the Nintendo 64 version, Like, I don't think I did it in this video, but if they beat you, it'll say finish him, and every once in a while Motaro will do like a fatality on you where he, like, you know, grabs your head and lifts it off. They look kind of cheesy, they're not really that good, but you know, it's a nice extra touch. Of course, this stage here, the graveyard stage, this is actually a cut stage from Mortal Kombat 3 on Nintendo's, or on Super Nintendo. Just one thing that they cut from the game. Kind of a cool stage though, I like it. Messed up that move. That's okay. But all the pit stages you can do the pit fatalities with the exception of the Mortal Kombat 2 pit stage. The reason why you can't do the Mortal Kombat 2 pit fatality is because it requires like an overhead animation that was recorded for those characters, which they can't re-record. They didn't re-record any character movements for this game, as far as I know. I don't know how they got the running animation for Baraka and Raiden. I don't know if it was just like unused recordings, or if maybe they did get like those two running animations, but that's about it. Ooh, Noob Saibot. Noob Saibot's a pain in this one a little bit. Just his projectile just goes so fast. There we go. Of course, a nice little trick in the game, which carries over to most of the home ports, but not all of them. And I don't know if it's in... Ooh, trying to do the pit fatality. Oh, he is going to do it. Sweet. If you jump backwards and do a jump kick, usually the character will throw their projectile. I don't know if it did it on later revisions of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the arcade, but the earlier revisions did it. And most of the home ports, not all of them, most of the home ports did it. Like you'll see on the Nintendo 64 version here, it didn't quite work out sometimes. But there's also multiple versions of Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation. Like the original version that came out at launch has a little bit of bugs in it. There's also the Greatest Hits version, which they fixed some of the bugs, and gameplay's a little bit more smooth. I actually have both versions. I have both discs, but I am playing on the Greatest Hits version. So, what other character can we play? You know, just for the heck of it, we'll play as the boss. Again, I don't know how to play as the bosses on the Nintendo 64 version. I'm pretty sure you can. There's just like a trick to it or something. But on the PlayStation version, they're just selectable. And the Saturn version, from what I understand, I'm pretty sure it's a port of the PlayStation version, so it has all the content in there. PC version, I don't think it is, though. I think the PC version... Pretty sure the PC version of Trilogy is like the Nintendo 64 version. So... I like I actually have Kintaro versus Motaro. When you're fighting Kintaro, like when the computer controls him, he fights almost identical to Mortal Kombat 2. Like when you're fighting Mortal Kombat 2. The run and the combos definitely make it a little easier to defeat him, but he's almost like a straight up like fighting him from Mortal Kombat 2. Goro, not so much. Goro's a little different, like when fighting him from Mortal Kombat 1. But that's okay. Of course, you know, that stage on the Nintendo 64 version, the courtyard, that's a Mortal Kombat 1 stage, originally had an old Shang Tsung in the background, but in this game, they edited it to have Shao Kahn in the background. So, because it's supposed to take place during Mortal Kombat 3, not during the events of Mortal Kombat 1. So... I forget how to throw the fireball. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and reset the game because I do want to beat the game. I don't remember how many sessions I did on the Nintendo 64 version, but I know the video should loop back and forth. Should loop back to the beginning. But, I mean, here's another problem with the PlayStation version, is the loading times, you know, like the video intros and all that stuff, it won't let me skip through them for whatever reason. They just didn't put that in there. So it's, you know, kind of takes a minute to actually play the game. So, also that, I'll show it here in just a second. In the option menu here, as soon as I can get to it, I think Sindel does her fatality on me here. Yeah, I actually like that fatality. That's a good one. Mortal Kombat 3 didn't have too many good fatalities. It had some good ones, but overall they weren't great. But that one's good. I like that one. Alright, so go to the option menu here. I forget how to do it, but you can access this little question mark in the middle, and that'll give you like some like cheat options, like one button fatalities and things like that. Of course, the combat codes on the Nintendo 64 version, so you can unlock Human Smoke and Chameleon. And I guess just for fun, let's play as Mortal Kombat 1 Raiden. And we're just going to do the first tower just to keep it simple, so it's not too hard, so I can, you know, show the Shao Kahn fight. Yeah, so the video looped over, which is fine. And I think I picked Raiden first on that one. But one of the tricks on the earlier versions of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 when fighting, oh yeah, see, I love Raiden this. Well, they added some extra moves, like he can do that. He can do like his flying move in the air, which he could not do in Mortal Kombat 1. But all the animations and stuff are there, so that's kind of cool. And they added characters, and like the running animation looks kind of funny because it's just him walking fast. But, so I remember the fatality here. I know the Mortal Kombat 1 character fatalities are really hard to do. Usually I just rely on the one button fatality trick. But anyway, what I was talking about earlier is when you're fighting Shao Kahn, the early revisions on the arcade of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, like when you're using Smoke or Scorpion, you throw the spear and you hit Shao Kahn. If you wait like a second or two before doing the uppercut, so if you do it just right, he won't block it. You'll uppercut him and then you can throw the spear right away and just kind of get him in like a little chain lock, and he's like super easy. But I believe on Nintendo 64 version, he'll block it right away if you don't uppercut him soon enough, so you can't really do that trick. You can still do it with Cyrex's net and Sub-Zero's ice. And I think the Saturn version did that as well, of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Maybe the PlayStation version of regular Mortal Kombat 3. So he's a little bit harder in Nintendo 64, but, you know, you can still fight him. I don't remember if you can do it in the PlayStation version or not. I might as well find out. I remember to do that fatality in the regular Mortal Kombat 1, you had to be really, really close. But I think in this, you had to be a little farther away. I'll try it close. Of course, Raiden spelled with a Y. All the home versions of Mortal Kombat, Raiden was spelled with a Y until Mortal Kombat 4 or 5. I forget which one. And Purple Rain, reference to the Prince song. And Rain had like a trick where he like roundhouse kick him to the other side or something like that, if I remember correctly. I like the lightning on him when he's like standing normal. Kind of funny how they didn't really add that in Mortal Kombat 2, but I love that in Mortal Kombat 1. It's kind of a cool effect. Oh, I don't know if that was a glitch or what. Of course, Rain was never playable in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, but he was a secret character. You could, pretty sure you could fight him. If you couldn't fight him, he was just in the opening credits. I don't know if he had a special. I don't think he had a special moves though. They did add Rain in. They did add Rain in the Super Nintendo and Genesis version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which are horrible games. Actually, they're not that good. Regular Mortal Kombat 3 on Super Nintendo was pretty good, but Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 just on Super Nintendo just has too much cut content. So, kind of like the Nintendo 64 version of Trilogy, but it still has enough content to make it a great game. Of course, a little teaser animation there. So I'm going to go ahead and let Scorpion beat me because I want to switch characters. I don't know what character I'm going to play, but I'm going to switch into something. This is always good. That's a good pit fatality. I like that one. And I think Sub-Zero does the acid bath fatality. Or did I win this match? Yep, okay, I did it. Oh wait, no, that was computer. I was Sub-Zero. And we'll go ahead and pick Smoke. We'll pick Smoke again. Of course, Human Smoke, he actually had a different fatality in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the arcade and the Sega Saturn version, but in Trilogy, they gave Human Smoke his own unique fatalities. I don't remember how good they were or even what they were. And Raiden, Mortal Kombat 2 version of Raiden, they added like the lightning that shoots backwards. So they added a couple special moves for characters here. Like Baraka does like a blade spinning thing, which was unused footage from when making Mortal Kombat 2. Striker, when he throws the grenades, you can do a move where he throws 2 grenades. Trying to remember what else. Sector can shoot out 2 missiles. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. So a lot of these versus Let's Plays, I like to have like the left captured footage out of the left speaker and the right captured footage out of the right speaker. But since I'm recording both of these off of HDMI, OBS for whatever reason doesn't let me fade to left and right for whatever reason. It's grayed out. So if any of you guys are watching this and are using OBS, I'm using version 22.0.2, 64-bit, yeah, 64-bit Windows version. If you know how to fade like captured footage to like left or right side as you're capturing, let me know in the comments. So I've tried to search for it and I can never find it. But the reason I can do it in the other games is because it's just an analog signal, so I just unplug the left or right audio source. That's usually how I do it in the previous videos. Of course, just like the uppercut through the roof and into another stage, which was unique to Mortal Kombat 3. And in Nintendo 64 version, there's some stages where you actually do it like up like 3 stories because there's no load times. So yeah, that's actually the 3rd stage. I forgot what there's actually a bottom level and it goes to the 2nd one and a 3rd one. So here we are, endurance match. Again, I'm going to switch music real quick. I'll be quiet for just a sec, listen to the music. So, I don't know if I did it soon enough. But again, it's the Mortal Kombat 3 music, not the Mortal Kombat 2 stage music. But, trying to be careful here. We'll go ahead and switch it back. But I don't know if you heard it there. Another thing about the audio is when it says finish him, there's like a music loop, like in the arcade versions. You know, like to add tension and stuff like that. Because the PlayStation versions don't have that because it's a CD track. You can't like, you know, suddenly like on a whim loop the music back and forth. You know, kind of like, you know, playing the music sped up real quick or something like that. So like when it says finish him, it just keeps playing music. It doesn't go like dun, 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 or, you know, something weird like that. So Nintendo 64 version does keep that. It's just a minor thing. Of course, if you notice, when my aggressor meter is full, all my moves do a little bit more damage. Now, because it's the endurance match, it had to load more than 2 characters. When I do a fatality, it actually has to load the fatality. So, see Cyrax in the background there in the middle of the desert. The reason why he's in the middle of the desert is when you beat the game with Cyrax, he actually gets lost in the desert. So it's actually a nod to his ending. You'll see a little bit of slowdown right there, you know, with on the Nintendo 64 version with the aggressor meter full and the effect and the explosions. So there is some slowdown, but which all you gotta do is just turn the aggressive off, which I usually do anyway. Motaro is really not too tough. It's, you know, try not to get hit with that grab. If you know he's going to block the jump kick, try and do it as low as possible. See, see like the bottom of the pit stage there from Mortal Kombat 1. The only way you could fight in that stage in Mortal Kombat 1 was during the reptile fight. There we go. That's Motaro. So earlier I talked about the spear trick on Shao Kahn. I don't remember if I can do it on the PlayStation version. I'm pretty sure I can't on the Nintendo 64 version. But I don't even think regular Mortal Kombat 3 will let me do it on PlayStation. But on the arcade version, you can do this. Like I do, spear him once, wait a second. Yeah, see, it won't let me do it. He'll attack right away. So we'll try it again. See, when I uppercut on him, when I didn't do the spear that time, oh, like here, I can throw the spear right away and it hits him when he gets up. But like when you spear him and uppercut him the first time, you can't throw a spear right away. So in the arcade version, if you wait a second before uppercutting him, you can throw the spear again right away. Because he'll sit there stunned for a little bit, but in this version here, in the home versions, he'll just attack like almost right away. You only got a split second to attack him. So, normally you do like to get over here and they're like kind of standing there dizzy for like maybe like a second or 2 seconds, regular opponents. And there's no dizzy animation for Shao Kahn, so he just kind of does his regular pose. But so if you do an uppercut right away, run up, uppercut him again. If you uppercut him without doing the spear right away, you can just throw a spear as soon as you can, and he'll basically hit him. Now the net, like you see right here, the net will do it. In fact, just to make sure I'm right, we'll play Cyrax on this one. Of course, they had like a little extra animation there where all the characters come out of Shao Kahn dying. I think it's just to show off, hey, look what Nintendo 64 can do that the PlayStation can't. Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, it's actually harder. Yeah, it's harder to get the net out a little faster on the PlayStation version, so... Yeah, so it's actually easier on the Nintendo 64 version. There we go. There we go. Okay, we got it. So it is the same. Of course, I picked the prize when I beat the game on the Nintendo 64 version where I fought Ermac. If you pick the first prize, it shows the ending. If you beat it on the maximum difficulty and you pick the last prize, you get the Supreme Demonstration on the Nintendo 64 version. I don't think the Supreme Demonstration is on the PlayStation version. I know it's on the Saturn version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. But of course, with every time it loads a fatality, it has to like stop and load the next one because of the loading times. Nintendo 64 version of Trilogy has no loading time, so it can load the Supreme Demonstration with no issues. But I forgot what they did with this on PlayStation version. They did something. Supreme Demonstration, of course, is when it shows every fatality and finishing move for every character in the game. So we'll be with Scorpion here. Oh, I threw it too soon. Not doing too well. If I die this one, I'll beat it with Sub-Zero, because Sub-Zero is pretty easy to beat it with. Oh, I think I won because that aggressive meter. Did just enough damage to knock him out. Oh, I should have speared him there. There we go. That's okay. Basically, when he does the dash, you want to block the dash. When he does like the upward dash, you want to just duck and not blocking, just uppercut him. Of course, this game had a lot of references to Mortal Kombat 4 as well, which I think is somewhere in the credits or something says Mortal Kombat 4 coming out in 1997 or something like that. A lot of the characters that were unique to this game or had endings unique to this game, it mentioned Mortal Kombat 4 in the ending. But we're going to do just regular Sub-Zero. But yeah, I always liked, even though I liked the Nintendo 64 system better when they both came out, I liked Mortal Kombat Trilogy on PlayStation better back in the day. But now that I've played them both, I think I like the Nintendo 64 version better. Just because of the lack of loading times. Alright, do the ice. Oh, I didn't do it soon enough. Oh, it doesn't do it. He blocks it. So I remember playing this yesterday on Nintendo 64 as Sub-Zero, and I was able to beat him. Apparently he blocks it. It's alright. That's alright. We will play a different character. One way or the other, we'll beat him. We'll play Robot Smoke. Since Robot Smoke seems to have the biggest damage combo for a... actually, I guess Cyrex does. Actually, yeah, we'll do a Cyrex. We are beating this game. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game when it came out. But, I had wished the Nintendo 64 was a better system back in the day compared to the PlayStation. I mean, the games are more kind of sought out for in terms of collectability. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. It's got more nostalgia behind that. I should put it that way. I think it's just because of it's Nintendo. Nintendo name kind of has a little more behind it. But if I didn't have a PlayStation and I only had Nintendo 64, this game I would have been happy with. Oh, come on. Get him? Oh, lame. He throws a fireball, and if you're close enough, you can run up and combo him. Come on, there we go. There we go. The aggressive meter helped me out again there. Ooh, got me with a throw. now we'll try smoke. Did my recording loop over again? I think it did. Oh, we gotta hit start. Yeah, if you play this on a PlayStation 3, it actually frees up when it gets down to 0. It won't go back to the menu. Something to do with the emulation or something. I just found that out recently. I thought I just had a scratch in my disc or something. Of course, the game has Ermac. You see the red ninja kind of toward the bottom there. Ermac was brought in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Originally a rumored character in the first Mortal Kombat. Kind of a nice little nod to a rumor. So. So I can uppercut him again. Ooh, yeah. Oh, lame. Spear. Oh, lame. That was so close. I got screwed on that one. Of course, there's Baraka's fatality. Oh, I got lucky on that one. That usually doesn't work. I risked it. Come on. Go diagonal. Bummer. This is when the load times get a little tedious because there's like a loading time to get to the menu, a loading time to hit start, a loading time. See, I didn't mind it when the PlayStation first came out because, I mean, it was such a huge advancement going from Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis to PlayStation and Sega Saturn. In terms of graphics quality, audio quality, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, it was a little tedious, but like the fighting games like this, it was a little more tedious because of like the Shang Tsung's character morphing and whatnot. But that's why when Trilogy came out for Nintendo 64, I was hoping for Nintendo 64 to be the better version. But unfortunately, PlayStation version is kind of regarded as the better version with the more character animations and whatnot. But again, I think now looking back on it, I think I like the Nintendo 64 version better. Come on. There we go. Spear. I just need to uppercut faster. Oh, there we go. A little more mashing. Come on. I'm missing those opportunities when I'm close, when he throws a fireball out of his mouth. Then I need to just run up and combo him because I'm getting so tense here. Alright, come on, uppercut him. Oh, lame. Alright, we'll do one more and we'll call it quits. Because I don't want this to be a 3-hour video of me failing and fighting Shao Kahn and losing over and over again. And we're going to do Sub-Zero again. Just because his ice will still hit him if his projectile hits me. Okay, yeah, there my video looped back over again. That's okay. Don't forget to connect the second controller to play 2-player. Ugh. This might be it. We might be throwing in the towel. Okay, so the... Oh, come on. I should have had him. Oh well. Anyway, that is Mortal Kombat Trilogy on both the PlayStation 1 console and the Nintendo 64. Again, also available on the Sega Saturn, but I've never played it on the Saturn. It's just a port of the PlayStation version. But yeah, let me know in the comments which one you like better. The better version is obviously the PlayStation version. I liked the PlayStation version more when they both came out. However, now looking back on it, I think I like the Nintendo 64 version better because of the lack of load times. Even though there's not as much frames of animation, you know, there's some frames missing in the animation, the action is still smooth and it still plays exactly the same, with the exception of the aggressor menu, the aggressor meter slowdown, which you can just disable that. So yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for coming to my video. If you would like to help my channel grow, please like and subscribe, and please click on this little bell icon so you never miss a future video.